Emma Charlotte Dewar Watson is an English actress, model, and activist. Born in Paris and brought up in Oxfordshire, Watson attended the Dragon School and trained as an actress at the Oxford branch of Stagecoach Theatre Arts. As a child, she rose to prominence with her first professional acting role as Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter film series, having acted only in school plays previously.
Watson also appeared in the 2007 television adaptation of the novel Ballet Shoes and lent her voice to the tale of Despero. After the last Harry Potter film, she took on starring and supporting roles in My Week with Marilyn, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and The Bling Ring, made an appearance as an exaggerated version of herself in This Is the End, and portrayed the titular character's adopted daughter in Noah. She went on to star as Belle in the musical romantic fantasy Beauty and the Beast and Meg March in the coming-of-age film Little Women. Her other film roles include Regression, Colonia, and The Circle.
From 2011 to 2014, Watson split her time between working on films and continuing her education, studying at Brown University and Worcester College, Oxford, and graduating from Brown with a bachelor's degree in English literature in May 2014. Her modeling work has included campaigns for Burberry and Lancome. She also lent her name to a line of clothing for People Tree. She was honored by the British Academy of Film and Television Arts in 2014, winning British Artist of the Year. That same year, she was appointed as a UN Women Goodwill Ambassador and helped launch the UN Women campaign He for She, which encourages all genders to work towards gender equality.
Watson was born in Paris, France, the daughter of English lawyers Jacqueline Lusby and Chris Watson. Watson lived in Maisons-Laffitte near Paris until she was 5. Her parents divorced when she was young, and Watson moved to England to live with her mother in Oxfordshire while spending weekends at her father's house in London. Watson has said she speaks some French, though not as well as she used to. After moving to Oxford with her mother and brother, she attended the Dragon School, remaining there until 2003. From age 6, she wanted to become an actress, and trained at the Oxford branch of Stagecoach Theatre Arts, a part-time theatre school where she studied singing, dancing, and acting.
By age 10, Watson had performed in Stagecoach productions and school plays including Arthur, The Young Years and The Happy Prince, but she had never acted professionally before the Harry Potter series. After the Dragon School, Watson moved on to Headington School, Oxford. While on film sets, she and her peers were tutored for up to 5 hours a day. In June 2006, she took GCSE school examinations in 10 subjects, achieving 8A* and 2A grades. In May 2007, she took AS levels in English, Geography, Art, and History of Art. The next year, she dropped History of Art to pursue the 3A levels, receiving a grade in each subject.
Watson took a gap year after leaving high school to film Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows beginning in February 2009, but said she intended to continue her studies and later confirmed that she had chosen Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. In March 2011, after 18 months at the university, Watson announced that she was deferring her course for a semester or two, though she attended Worcester College, Oxford during the 2011-12 academic year as part of the visiting student program.
Watson told Ellen DeGeneres just before graduation that it took 5 years to finish instead of 4 because, owing to her acting work, she ended up taking 2 full semesters off. On May 25, 2014, she graduated from Brown University with a bachelor's degree in English literature. In 2013, she became certified to teach yoga and meditation. As part of this certification, she attended a week-long meditation course at a Canadian facility, in which residents are not allowed to speak, in order to figure out how to be at home with myself. She told Elle Australia that an uncertain future meant finding a way to always feel safe and at home within myself. Because I can never rely on a physical place.
In 1999, casting began for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the film adaptation of British author J.K. Rowling's best-selling novel. Casting agents found Watson through her Oxford theatre teacher, and producers were impressed by her confidence. After 8 auditions, producer David Heyman told Watson and fellow applicants Daniel Radcliffe and Rupert Grint that they had been cast for the roles of the school friends Hermione Granger, Harry Potter, and Ron Weasley, respectively. Rowling supported Watson from her first screen test.
The release of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in 2001 was Watson's debut screen performance. The film broke records for opening day sales and opening weekend takings and was the highest-grossing film of 2001. Critics praised the performances of the three leads, often singling out Watson for particular acclaim. The Daily Telegraph called her performance admirable, and IGN said she stole the show. Watson was nominated for 5 awards for her performance in Philosopher's Stone, winning the Young Artist Award for Leading Young Actress.
A year later, Watson again starred as Hermione in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, the second installment of the series. Reviewers praised the lead actors' performances. The Los Angeles Times said Watson and her peers had matured between films, while the Times criticized director Chris Columbus for underemploying Watson's hugely popular character. Watson received an Otto Award from the German magazine Bravo for her performance.
In 2004, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban was released. Watson was appreciative of the more assertive role Hermione played, calling her character charismatic and a fantastic role to play. Although critics panned Radcliffe's performance, labeling him wooden, they praised Watson. The New York Times lauded her performance, saying, "Luckily Mr. Radcliffe's blandness is offset by Ms. Watson's spiky impatience. Harry may show off his expanding wizardless skills, but Hermione earns the loudest applause with the decidedly unmagical punch to Draco Malfoy's deserving nose." Although Prisoner of Azkaban proved to be the lowest-grossing Harry Potter film of the entire series, Watson's personal performance won her 2 Otto Awards and the Child Performance of the Year award from Total Film.
With Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, both Watson and the Harry Potter film series reached new milestones. The film set records for a Harry Potter opening weekend, a non-May opening weekend in the US, and an opening weekend in the UK. Critics praised the increasing maturity of Watson and her teenage co-stars. The New York Times called her performance touchingly earnest. For Watson, much of the humor of the film sprang from the tension among the 3 lead characters as they matured. She said, "I loved all the arguing. I think it's much more realistic that they would argue and that there would be problems." Nominated for 3 awards for Goblet of Fire, Watson won a Bronze Otto Award. Later that year, Watson became the youngest person to appear on the cover of Teen Vogue, an appearance she reprised in August 2009. In 2006, Watson played Hermione in The Queen's Handbag, a special mini-episode of Harry Potter in celebration of Queen Elizabeth II's 80th birthday.
The 5th film in the Harry Potter franchise, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, was released in 2007. A huge financial success, the film set a record worldwide opening weekend gross of $332.7 million. Watson won the inaugural National Movie Award for Best Female Performance. As the fame of the actress in the series continued, Watson and fellow Harry Potter co-stars Daniel Radcliffe and Rupert Grint left imprints of their hands, feet, and wands in front of Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood on July 9, 2007.
By July 2007, Watson's work in the Harry Potter series was said to have earned her more than £10 million, and she acknowledged she would never have to work for money again. In March 2009, she was ranked 6th on the Forbes list of most valuable young stars, and in February 2010, she was named as Hollywood's highest-paid female star, having earned an estimated £19 million in 2009.
Despite the success of Order of the Phoenix, the future of the Harry Potter franchise became surrounded in doubt, as all 3 lead actors were hesitant to sign on to continue their roles for the final 2 episodes. Radcliffe eventually signed for the final films on March 2, 2007, but Watson was considerably more hesitant. She explained that the decision was significant, as the films represented a further 4-year commitment to the role, but eventually conceded that she could never let Hermione go, signing for the role on March 23, 2007.
Watson's first non-Potter role was the 2007 BBC film Ballet Shoes, an adaptation of the novel of the same title by Noel Streatfeild. The film's director, Sandra Goldbacher, commented that Watson was perfect for the starring role of aspiring actress Pauline Fossil. She has a piercing, delicate aura that makes you want to gaze and gaze at her. Ballet Shoes was broadcast in the UK on Boxing Day 2007 to an audience of 5.7 million viewers, to mixed reviews.
Watson also lent her voice to the role of Princess P in the animated film The Tale of Despero, a children's comedy starring Matthew Broderick, with Harry Potter co-star Robbie Coltrane also starring in the film. The Tale of Despero was released in December 2008 and grossed $87 million worldwide.
Principal photography for the sixth Harry Potter film began in late 2007, with Watson's part being filmed from December 18 to May 17, 2008. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince premiered on July 15, 2009, having been delayed from November 2008. With the lead actors now in their late teens, critics were increasingly willing to review them on the same level as the rest of the film's all-star cast, which the Los Angeles Times described as a comprehensive guide to contemporary UK acting. The Washington Post felt Watson to have given most charming performance to date, while the Daily Telegraph described the lead actors as newly liberated and energized, eager to give all they have to what's left of the series. In December 2008, Watson stated she wanted to go to university after she completed the Potter series.
Watson's filming for the final installment, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, began on February 18, 2009 and ended on June 12, 2010. For financial and scripting reasons, the original book was divided into two films which were shot consecutively. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1 was released in November 2010 while the second film was released in July 2011. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 2 became a commercial and critical success. The highest-grossing film in the franchise, it grossed more than $1.3 billion worldwide and proved to be Watson's most commercially successful film yet.
She also appeared in a music video for One Night Only, after meeting lead singer George Craig at the 2010 Winter/Summer Burberry advertising campaign. The video, Say You Don't Want It, was screened on Channel 4 on June 26, 2010 and released on August 16. In her first post-Harry Potter film, Watson appeared in 2011's My Week with Marilyn as Lucy, a wardrobe assistant who is flirted with by the main character, Colin Clark, and has a few dates with him.
In May 2010, Watson was reported to be in talks to star in a film adaptation of The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Filming began in summer 2011, and the film was released in September 2012.
In The Bling Ring, Watson stars as Nikki. The film is based on the real-life Bling Ring robberies, with Watson playing a fictionalized version of Alexis Nyers, a television personality who was one of 7 teenagers involved in the robberies. While the film mostly received mixed reviews, critics gave almost unanimous praise for Watson's portrayal. Watson also had a supporting role in the apocalyptic comedy This Is the End, in which she, Seth Rogen, James Franco and many others played exaggerated versions of themselves, and Watson memorably dropped the F-bomb. She said she could not pass up the opportunity to make her first comedy and work with some of the best comedians in the world right now.
In June 2012, Watson was confirmed for the role as Isla in Darren Aronofsky's Noah, which began filming the following month, and was released in March 2014. In March 2013, it was reported that Watson was in negotiations to star as the title character in the live-action Disney adaptation of Cinderella. Kenneth Branagh was attached to direct the adaptation, while Cate Blanchett had reportedly agreed to play the evil stepmother. Watson was offered the role, but turned it down because she did not connect with the character. The role ultimately went to Lily James.
In October 2013, Watson was chosen as the Woman of the Year by British GQ. That same month, She was one of 2 British actors to land atop a readers' poll of the sexiest movie stars of 2013, beating Scarlett Johansson and Jennifer Lawrence for the actress's title in an online poll of more than 50,000 film fans. Benedict Cumberbatch took the men's vote.
Watson joined Judi Dench, Robert Downey Jr., Mike Leigh, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Mark Ruffalo as recipients of the 2014 Britannia Awards, presented on October 30th in Los Angeles. Watson won for British Artist of the Year and dedicated her award to Millie, her pet hamster who died as Watson filmed Philosopher's Stone. Watson starred in 2 2015 releases, the thriller films Colonia, opposite Daniel Bruhl and Michael Nyqvist, and Regression by Alejandro Amenabar, alongside Ethan Hawke and her Harry Potter colleague David Thewlis. Both received generally negative reviews. She also appeared in an episode of The Vicar of Dibley, in which she played Reverend Iris. In February 2016, Watson announced she was taking a year-long break from acting. She planned to spend the time on her personal development and her women's rights work.
Watson played Belle in the 2017 live-action Disney adaptation of Beauty and the Beast directed by Bill Condon, and starring opposite Dan Stevens as the Beast. The film earned over $1.2 billion at the box office and emerged as the second highest-grossing film of 2017, behind only Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and the 14th highest-grossing film of all time. Her reported fee was $3 million upfront, with profit participation bringing her total to $15 million. Later that year, she starred opposite Tom Hanks in the film adaptation of Dave Eggers' novel The Circle, playing May Holland, a young tech worker who takes a job at a powerful internet corporation, only to find herself in a perilous situation concerning privacy, surveillance, and freedom.
In 2019, Watson starred as Meg March in Greta Gerwig's film adaptation of Little Women, co-starring with Saoirse Ronan, Florence Pugh, Timothy Chalamet, Laura Dern, and Meryl Streep.
In 2005, Watson began her modeling career with a photo shoot for Teen Vogue and was the youngest person ever to appear on its cover. 3 years later, the British press reported that Watson was to replace Keira Knightley as the face of the fashion house Chanel, but this was denied by both parties. In June 2009, following several months of rumors, Watson confirmed that she would be partnering with Burberry as the face of their autumn/winter 2009 campaign, for which she received an estimated 6-figure fee. She also appeared in Burberry's 2010 spring/summer campaign alongside her brother Alex, musicians George Craig and Matt Gilmore, and model Max Hurd. In February 2011, Watson was awarded the Style Icon Award from British Ale by Dame Vivienne Westwood. Watson continued her involvement in fashion advertising when she announced she had been chosen as the face of Lancôme in March 2011.
In September 2009, Watson announced her involvement with Peopletree, a fair trade fashion brand. Watson worked as a creative advisor for the company to create a spring line of clothing, which was released in February 2010. The range featured styles inspired by southern France and London. The collection, described by The Times as very clever despite their quiet hope that would become tangled at the first hemp-woven hurdle, was widely publicized in magazines such as Teen Vogue, Cosmopolitan, and People. Watson, who was not paid for the collaboration, admitted that competition for the range was minimal, but argued that fashion is a great way to empower people and give them skills. Rather than give cash to charity, you can help people by buying the clothes they make and supporting things they take pride in, adding, "I think young people like me are becoming increasingly aware of the humanitarian issues surrounding fast fashion and want to make good choices, but there aren't many options out there." Watson continued her involvement with Peopletree, resulting in the release of a 2010 autumn/winter collection.
Watson was awarded Best British Style at the 2014 British Fashion Awards. The competition included David Beckham, Amal Clooney, Kate Moss, and Keira Knightley.
Watson has promoted education for girls, visiting Bangladesh and Zambia to do so. In July 2014, she was appointed as a UN Women Goodwill Ambassador. In September that year, an admittedly nervous Watson delivered an address at UN headquarters in New York City to launch the UN Women campaign He for She, which calls for men to advocate for gender equality. In that speech she said she began questioning gender-based assumptions at age 8 when she was called bossy whilst boys were not, and at 14 when she was sexualized by certain elements of the media. Watson's speech also called feminism the belief that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities and declared that the perception of man-hating is something that has to stop. Watson later said she received threats within 12 hours of making the speech, which left her raging. "If they were trying to put me off, it did the opposite." In 2015, Malala Yousafzai told Watson she decided to call herself a feminist after hearing Watson's speech.
Also in September, Watson made her first country visit as a UN Women Goodwill Ambassador to Uruguay, where she gave a speech highlighting the need for women's political participation. In December, the MS Foundation for Women named Watson its Feminist Celebrity of 2014, following an online poll. Watson also gave a speech about gender equality in January 2015 at the World Economic Forum's annual winter meeting.
Watson took the top spot on the Ask Men Top 99 Outstanding Women 2015 list on the strength of having thrown her back into women's rights issues. The day after she turned 25, Watson placed number 26 on the Time 100 list of the world's most influential people, her first ever appearance on the list. For its recap, former New York Times editor Jill Abramson noted Watson's gutsy, smart take on feminism and called the effort to get men involved refreshing.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.